Okay, we're going to learn now a Sicha from the Rebbe in Parshas Lech Lecha, printed in Sichas Chelik Chof, volume 20. And I'd like to welcome all the people who are also participating in the shir that we're having here in Beis Menachem in Miami Beach, and everybody is participating. Bruchim haboyim to this shir.
Amen.
And we want to wish a refuah shleima to Menachem Mendel and Ben Sora Batye and Dveire Feige Bat Rezel. Shavah refuah shleima refuah kreva.
Amen.
Okay, this is a Sicha on Parshas Lech Lecha, and also concerning Zayin Cheshvan. That this week, Friday, is Zayin Cheshvan. So the connection between the two. So the Sicha starts like this. We're going to learn the text inside. Zayin Cheshvan fällt uns allemal in der Woche von Parshas Lech Lecha. This is in Yiddish, and I'm going to translate it into English. Zayin Cheshvan comes out every year, always, in the week of Parshas Lech Lecha. See, not like other times, other Yom Tevim comes out certain Parshas, sometimes this Parsha, sometimes this Parsha. Zayin Cheshvan is always Parshas Lech Lecha. Sometimes it's Sunday, sometimes it's a Tuesday, a Wednesday, or like this year it's a Friday, but it's always in Parshas Lech Lecha. And based on what we know, that the Shalom writes, that the holidays of the year, and it's not only the Yom Tov the holidays, but the word Meyed is Foloshen Miyuad, as Pitzeles Man, any special time, in other words, any special date of the week, of the month, have a connection to the Parshas when they are. In other words, any special day that is there in the week has a special connection to the Parsha that we learn, we read that week. Is moving, for that we understand. That Zayin Cheshvan must have some kind of, in its meaning, what it means, must have a connection to Zayin Cheshvan, because Zayin Cheshvan is always in Lech Lecha. Especially that in this case, where Zayin Cheshvan is always in Lech Lecha. Not like other special dates, was they are kviyas in the Parshas, that the time of which parshas they happen to be changes from year to year. Sometimes it's in one parsha like Chanukah, sometimes this parsha, that parsha. But Zayin Cheshvan is always Parshas Lech Lecha. For sure, it has a connection to Parshas Lech Lecha. So let's see, what is the meaning of Zayin Cheshvan? What is the meaning of Parshas Lech Lecha? And we see the connection. When Zayin Cheshvan zog the Mishnah, concerning the 7th day of Cheshvan, the Mishnah says, Adosi der Tog ven she'elin es akshamim. That's the day that you start asking for rain. In Eretz Yisrael, up to these days, I will see they start asking for rain. They start saying Talo Motor Livrocha in Baruch Aleinu from Zayin Cheshvan. See, that's the difference. What we do on Shmini Atzeres, and we have to feel as Geshem, from then on we start saying Mash V'ruach Merida Geshem. But that's not asking for rain. That's called Maskirin. We mention, when we talk in the beginning of Shemon Esrei, the greatness of Hashem, so we also mention, one of his things is that he gives rain. From Shmini Atzeres, we start mentioning that. But to ask for rain, that's in Baruch Aleinu. And that starts from Zayin Cheshvan. Why Zayin Cheshvan? Why doesn't it go together? Why the day that we mention rain, same day we should start asking for rain? So he says, because it's Tes Vof Yem Achra Chag, 15 days after Sukkot. So we have to wait 15 days. Kedei Sheyagi Achasha B'Yisrael in Harpros. That the last Yid, who lives the furthest away from Yerushalayim, should be able to get home before it rains. Because the people used to go up for Yom Tov to Yerushalayim. Then after Yom Tov, they have to go home. And we don't want them to get stuck in the rain. So if we start asking for rain earlier, they might get stuck in the rain. So we wait till the last person who lives the furthest away by Nahar Paros would get home. That takes 15 days. And that's like the Aloch in Rambam Shulchan Aruch, as Be'eretz Yisrael, Heit Menon Sheil Zayin Kshomim Zayin Cheshvan. Be'eretz Yisrael, we start counting, we start asking for rain on the 7th day of Cheshvan.
Nobody would live further,
yeah.
like 3 weeks? No?
Versteht man, for that we understand, das is nicht a blaze asibish lilis. In other words, we must say that it's not just like a negative reason, meaning the Geshems only Gedem sein Kanzar Sayyiden bis betonkum le beise besefak gvul. Normally you could say there is no special reason why we wait till Zayin Cheshvan. It doesn't represent anything. It just physically we have to make sure that the guy doesn't get caught in the rain. But it's not only that, because we don't want him to get caught in the rain till he gets to the border, to the end. Nor as bis Zayin Cheshvan is es noch als a hemshech von der Aliyah l'regel Chag HaSukkos. There must be a deeper meaning. That till Zayin Cheshvan, you didn't finish with your being in Yerushalayim. In other words, we're saying till Zayin Cheshvan we start asking for rain. Till then we're waiting for the people to get home. That means till then the concept of leaving Yerushalayim is not over yet. And that's why we wait till then. When we state mefurish in Shach, the Shach writes clearly, the kol pam sho Yisrael elon meregel, every time the Yidden went up to Yerushalayim for Yontev, they couldn't get home after Yontev Ela B'Tesvav Yem. It took 15 days. And then he adds, as long as they didn't get home, in other words, till the 15 days, they felt as if they're still in Eretz Yisrael, asukim binyon regel, involved in the inyonim of the Yontev. As long as they didn't cross the Har Pros, which is the furthest, the people still felt that they never left. So we see that till Zayin Cheshvan, you still didn't really 100% leave Yerushalayim, leave the Beis Hamikdash. Because it means like this. Zayin Cheshvan is the Tog was is Madgish and Gemara Hiluch V'Aliyah L'Regel. Zayin Cheshvan stresses that this is the day when you're finished with the Aliyah L'Regel, with the fact that you went to Yerushalayim. Ebadai de Yerida Min Aliyah. That represents when you start descending. When you go up to Yerushalayim and you're there, that's an aliyah, that's going up. When you leave Yerushalayim, you're going down. When is the real date when you left Yerushalayim? Physically, some people left right after Sichas. But in Inyan, they did not consider, it's not considered that they left Yerushalayim till Zayin Cheshvan. Eden,
After 2 weeks, the spiritual feeling wears off.
It doesn't say no, because it took them time.
So
Eden,
you're saying more than just the preparation of a mitzvah is a mitzvah.
No, not
You're
all
saying
preparation.
they're actually involved.
they
in the
felt
regular
as if they were still involved in Yontif. And we'll see even more. They'll bring more from the Shach. Eden kommen herab von der Shleimus HaKdusha in Beis Hamikdash for Yerushalayim. Yidden are going down, descending from the great Kedusha that they had when they were in Yerushalayim, Beis Hamikdash. Jeder eine kommt zu sein Ort. Now everybody already comes to his home. Tachas Gafne mit Tachas Tanosei, under his vineyard, under his date tree. That's an expression that's in Tanakh. It means you come home and already you're settled. Be'eretz Yisrael or the B'chutz La'aretz, whether it's in your home in Eretz Yisrael or even outside of Eretz Yisrael. Bis zu dem Achten Shebi Yisrael in Chutz La'aretz. The last guy in Eretz Yisrael, in Eden, that went to Chutz La'aretz, the Griechen did the Nahar Pros, that he got in Nahar Pros. So when did the descent, the emes start of leaving the Kedusha of Yerushalayim? Is Zayin Cheshvan. Lefi zeh, darfen verstehen, die Sheiches zu Parshas Lech Lecha. We said before that the date of Zayin Cheshvan has a Sheiches to the Parshas Lech Lecha. Now that we explained what the Zayin Cheshvan is, so how is that connected to Parshas Lech Lecha? Wo es redt sich, und sie ist mutgisch der Hepech. In Parshas Lech Lecha, the name Lech Lecha shows the opposite. Lech Lecha me'artzach, what did Hashem say to Avraham? Lech Lecha me'artzach, go away from your land, milatach from your birthplace, the Beis Avicha from your father's home, ela oretz asher areka, to the land I will show you. So Lech Lecha means going where was the land that he showed him? Eretz Yisrael. So Lech Lecha means going to Eretz Yisrael. And Zayin Cheshvan means leaving.
But really, it's going out of your comfort.
The Halicha v'Aliyah from Avraham came apart. Say Lech Lecha means Avraham going up higher from his place and his land. Aruiz came for Chutz La'aretz Choron, leaving. He lived in Choron then. Hashem told him, leave Chutz La'aretz, leave Choron, and gain Eretz Yisrael, to go to Eretz Yisrael. So how does that fit to Zayin Cheshvan? And even though in the beginning of the parsha already, it talks about Avram leaving Eretz Yisrael and going to Mitzrayim. So even though this is written in the parsha, but that's not the main part of the parsha. How do we know? Because we know that the name of the parsha represents what the whole parsha is. It's a kolishkin from a name of a person. The name of a person represents, it says that in the name is hidden everything, the essence of this person. Name of a parsha is also represents the whole parsha. So since the parsha is called Lech Lecha, so that means that the main thing of the parsha is what Lech Lecha represents, which is leaving Chutz La'aretz, going to Eretz Yisrael. Uve parsha saying in this parsha is in dem Nomen Lech Lecha. The name Lech Lecha was weist if der Alicha from Chutz La'aretz v'Aliyah in Eretz Yisrael, which shows on going from Chutz La'aretz and going up to Eretz Yisrael. So how does that fit to Zayin Cheshvan? V'eid v'iker. Besides that the name is Lech Lecha. Reiv HaSedre Kekula. Most of the Sedre Redt wegen Avram sein in Eretz Yisrael, talks about Avram being in Eretz Yisrael. And Zayin Cheshvan is leaving. We bald as jeder in Teir is a hero, everything in Teir is a lesson. In the Paran a hero say in the Parshas Shavua. So everything is a lesson. So we have to take a lesson from Zayin Cheshvan, and we have to take a lesson from Lech Lecha. But they're two opposite lessons. So the lesson we have to take from the Parshas Shavua, Ki Yedua, we know that Teiras Admor Azok and the Alter Rebbe said, Am Bedarf Leb mit der Zeit. He said once that we have to live with the times. And the Chassidim didn't understand what that means. We know that we Fruma Yidden don't live with the times. The times become modern and we don't live with it. So his brother explained, he went in and the Alter Rebbe told him what he meant was, we have to live with the Parshas Shavua. With the Parsha of the week. It means you have to take a lesson of the Parsha. Since the Parsha is Lech Lecha, we have to take a lesson of the Parsha Lech Lecha. Sei in the meaning from Zayin Cheshvan, but we also have to take a lesson from Zayin Cheshvan. For the Tzibir, so we have to understand, wie kommen sich zusammen, die zwei Unionen, how do these two things get together? For Zayin Beteichen, Hofchene von Zweitnem. That in their Teichen, they are opposite one of another. Lech Lecha is going to Eretz Yisrael, away from Chutz Loretz, going higher, and here it's going down. Especially that what we explained before, what Zayin Cheshvan means, is nit nor ainye was is given shayach nor bis masha Beis Hamikdash hayekayim. It's not only something that used to be in the time of the Beis Hamikdash. Because you could say, if the whole union of Zayin Cheshvan is that that's the end, the finish of the Aliyah L'Regel, so nowadays doesn't apply. We have no Aliyah L'Regel. So it's not only at that time. Then Motela given L'Regel when they went up to Yontif. Nor says eich shayach zu Yidin b'chol hazmanim. It's always shayach to Yidin, always. But the fact is, therefore, the din is sheilni sakshomim b'zayim acheshim be'eretz Yisrael. It was manazeh. The best proof that Zayin Cheshvan has the same meaning now too, because the din is that we nowadays start saying made it ageshem. We start asking for rain in Eretz Yisrael and Zayin Cheshvan. Wie der Alter Rebbe bringt Rabbi Shulchan Aruch. Alter Rebbe says why? Because af la'achar ha'churban, even after the Churban, they still used to come to Yerushalayim for Yontif. He says, like we even people still do now. Therefore, the Alter Rebbe says, this takona that you start asking for rain, Zayin Cheshvan, is nowadays too. So in Mela, whatever we're supposed to learn from Zayin Cheshvan, it applies now too. And the halacha we said is, where do we see the halacha Zayin Cheshvan nowadays? In Eretz Yisrael. There's another halacha he brings on the bottom. There's a halacha that b'chlal, if the person asked rain at the time when you shouldn't ask for rain, you have to say over Shemon Esrei. If someone said the same Talmud Motor in Baruch Aleinu in summertime when you shouldn't ask, you have to say Shemon Esrei over. So let's say today, if someone by mistake would say instead of the same bracha, the same Talmud Motor, you have to say over Shemon Esrei. From Zayin Cheshvan not, even the Chutz Loretz, even though we don't start saying the same Talmud Motor till the 5th or 6th of December, goes according to the Goyish calendar because of the seasons. But after Zayin Cheshvan, the din is that if you by mistake said the same Talmud Motor, even though we still say the same bracha, you don't have to say over Shemon Esrei. So we see that the Sinyan is not only Geyet Eretz Yisrael, that Zayin Cheshvan is a special day, has a special halacha, is even in Chutz Loretz.
After Churban, there was a mitzvah, Aliyah Regel?
No, but people used to do it anyway.
Anyway, as a minhag, it wasn't a takana.
No, you wouldn't have to. Aliyah Regel, you have to. That you didn't have to. Und das is eich negei b'chol ha-mekemes, eich b'chutz loretz. And this union applies all over. As Eib, because with the Shach writes, as Eib mishreibt in ashtar achar ha-regel, if someone writes a date in a document, and it doesn't say the date, whatever it is, but it says the word achar ha-regel, after Yontif. Meintes, tesvav yem achar ha-regel. 15 days. Later Mishnah now, based on that Mishnah, that till 15 days, it was still not finished with the Yontif. And the Shach adds, even though now we're in Golas, the word achar ha-regel still means up to Tesvav. So we're back to, so where the question is, so since the unit of Zayin Cheshvan, which is 15 days after Yontif, still applies now, that inyan, and the lesson of it is the idea of leaving Eretz Yisrael, leaving Yerushalayim mainly in the Beis Hamikdash and going down. How does that fit with the lesson that we're supposed to take from Lech Lecha, which says you have to go up and you have to go to Eretz Yisrael? And the Rebbe explains it like this: Dem etzem inyan as in der Aveide von Nidna Wegen von Beis Hamikdash Yado Anilui. See, the fact that when you leave the Beis Hamikdash, there is something special, good about it, that is understood. No, he's not asking that we don't understand why that's a mile. We can understand what's a mile. Was mitzadem yashlema as a svet ongerufen Lech Lecha, was feist aliyah. Lech Lecha means go up. And we ask the question, how does it do with Zayin, how does it fit to Zayin Cheshvan when it's going down? Really, leaving the Beis HaMikdash is also going up. How? It's moving, that we understand. Dafke when Eden kommen on, kol echad lebeise lemekeme. Dafke when a Yid comes home, to his house, to his home. Unodem cheirish, odem zereya. And the person starts doing his work, his regular work, involved in planting and plowing, whatever he has to do. That's when people start taking their physical things and making that a resting place for Hashem, a dwelling place for Hashem. If you work with the world, you work with the Gashmiyas, l'shem shamayim, and you do it in a proper way, you are bringing godliness into the low parts of the world. Durch Torah mitzvahs, first of all, you take physical things and you learn Torah with it, do mitzvahs. And all your own things, which are not mitzvahs, you do l'shem shamayim. In all your ways, you know Hashem. So that's what Hashem wants you to do. So the tachlis of a person is to bring godliness into the world. That only happens when you get home. That's not shaykh so much when you're in Yerushalayim, the Beis HaMikdash, in the time of the Yontif. From them, then you don't work. If you go to Yerushalayim, you don't work. It's not that time when you get involved in working the land. You go do business. When you're there, you're not involved in secular things, in normal things. With the low things. So, but when you're in the Beis HaMikdash, you can't really do what Hashem wants you to do, is the tachlis. Aber from Zayin Cheshvan, when Eden come back and they start again working the land. Making from the low things a dwelling place for Hashem, that makes it even better than before. There is a Yisrei No'er min HaCheshech. It says there, if you have light that comes after darkness, the light is stronger. So when you have light in the Beis HaMikdash, it's light, and light is very great. But when you bring light through Gashmiyas, which you could only do when you come home, the light is greater. So it's like Lech Lecha. Lech Lecha means you have to go higher. This makes you higher. So leaving the Beis HaMikdash, which seems to be a descent, is really an ascent, is higher. Just like it says in other places concerning the general descent of the neshama. The neshama comes down to this world. So the neshama going lower or higher? We know the neshama before it came down was by the Kisa Kovet, so close to Hashem. When it comes down, it's a yerida. The lashon is, it's a yerida. The igre rama lebira amikta. Igre rama means it's like the furthest you could think of, the highest roof to the deepest pit. It's very low. So on one hand, it's a yerida. But if it's a yerida, why did Hashem do it? Why did Hashem send it down here? Because yerida zutzerech aliyah is to go higher. That means as durchir aveda lemata in dvorim gashim, by the neshama coming down in the physical world and getting involved with physical things. So machen die Welt adirele is better, to make the world, the physical world, a dwelling place for Hashem. Vetzin isale becomes higher. Hechavis is given freer, higher than before. Lifnei yeridos lemata, before it comes down. Same thing is when we say when we leave Yerushalayim and you get home, it's not that it's descent. Physically, it's a descent. You're leaving the Kedusha of the Beis HaMikdash. But it's an aliyah because now you're going to gain more when you use all the Kedusha you have to elevate the world. So the question is answered. The question was that how do we connect Zayin Cheshvan to Lech Lecha? Lech Lecha is going higher and Zayin Cheshvan is leaving. He says that leaving is really going higher. But the Rebbe said, this is aber nicht maspik levaya. This is not enough to explain the Sichas to Parshas Lech Lecha. Das is b'pshuto shel mikra. If you learn the word Lech Lecha, Pasha means go higher. Okay, so Zayin Cheshvan, you go higher. But the simple pshat of Lech Lecha means as a sretzich wegen alichas Avram for chutz loras Eretz Yisrael. Simple pshat is he told him go to Eretz Yisrael. And we see how did he fulfill his Lech Lecha? Going from outside of Eretz Yisrael to Eretz Yisrael. That part doesn't fit to Zayin Cheshvan. Because really you're not going, over there you're going from Eretz Yisrael to Chutz Loretz, or from Yerushalayim out. So then we're still with the question, how does Lech Lecha fit together with Zayin Cheshvan?
Right? To go to Eretz Yisrael is melamata lamana. Correct? Or not?
It's going higher.
Going higher.
Yeah.
I just did not say Melamai Lamata. So that was Shechuricha, Melamai Lamata. It's going from Chutzlars to Eretz Yisrael.
No, that's not in the simple pshat. That's in the ruchnisdige pshat. Wird man das verstehen, the Rebbe says, I'll explain this, Bahagdem achilik zwischen der Maim und der Matzef Niden Balios and Regel, by first explaining the difference between the situation of the Yidden when they went up to Yerushalayim for Yontif, wo sie haben sich gefunden lifnei Hashem, they came to the Beis HaMikdash, they were there in front of Hashem, Legabe, der Maim und der Matzef gefunden sich jeder, came mit Achas Gaften, weil das nicht lifnei Hashem, compared in relations to how it was when they came home and they were not in front of Hashem. Was is gemoved na Yerida legabe zeir Maim und der Matzef sein nicht lifnei Hashem, which is simply a descent. Is aber da an Aliyah wie Ilu dafke durch dem, was ist einen weit, nicht bemokem Hashivcha Hashem. There is some mile in the fact that they are far. And here the Rebbe goes into a nigla part, which we're going to skip. This is a long Sichas, so he's going to see, I'll just say by heart what he's going to try to explain, that sometimes we find that when you're further away, really there is more that you have. If you're further away from somebody, sometimes you're closer to the person than when you're close to him. And he gives an example of two people who do something for a man. You could have a sochir, a hired worker, and you have a shliach. A hired worker, usually you hire him to do some work for you. So or he's in your place, or he's using your thing, you tell him, please make something for me, or something, so he's working with you. So a sochir represents doing something close to you. Shliach is sent away. The whole word shliach means to send away. Nevertheless, by a shliach, we say shluch eshel adam kameisei. The shliach is like the mishalech. He's like comes one with him. By a sochir, a hired worker, there's a big shaila whether what din he has, whether what he does is like his employer did or not. It's not so poshut. So this is just an example that sometimes we find that somebody who's further away, going further away, really is closer. And the reason is, and also what he says, and that'll be negated to later. This is an example. Why is it take? A hired worker, whatever he does for himself. He's hired to get paid. He's hired because he needs paid. A shliach doesn't do anything for himself. A shliach is purely because he does it for the one that sent him. That's the whole idea of shliach. You send me, you need to do something, you want me to do, you ask me to do it, and you do it. So a shliach, even though he goes further away, but because what he's doing is basically only for the purpose of the Mishaleach, so he is close to the Mishaleach. A sochir might be closer, he might be sitting there right next to him or working for him in his house. But he's working because he wants to work, he needs the money or whatever he wants to work. And that's going to be the point that the Rebbe is going to bring out, that the difference between being far and being in Yerushalayim and that. And I'm going to say it by heart first, just as a word, and then we'll see to learn inside. When you're in Yerushalayim, what was there? You gained a lot. You got Gilui, revelation of Hashem, Lifnei Hashem. All that is doing what is good for you. Good things that good for you. It's good for a person to be very holy. But it's still for yourself. Going out there and doing it, that's doing because Hashem wants you to do it. So here it's, you're bottled to Hashem, it's Hashem's, you're doing Hashem's thing. And here you're doing holy things, but it's because of your gain. So the one that's over there is like the sochiv, like the employee. And this is like the shliach. And that's what he's going to use this as an example.
You could also pay somebody to go far away to do a shliach.
I know, but I understand, but
that's a hired worker.
Right. Then it's hired work if you pay. Yeah, it's not shliach, right. But usually, we're talking, everything is usual. Usually a shliach me send. Go there. Because if it's not far, I could go myself. If I have to do something here, why did I send a shliach? I'll do it myself. Because it's far. And I'm sending him away. And he's with me. A socha usually could be many times. I hire a guy to do some work in my house. So he's close to me. But that's his thing. He's doing it for himself. So he doesn't become like me. So let's start page 108. Sif Hey. Me'ein zeh, similar to the difference between a hired worker and a shliach. Yesh leimer, you could say, is the chilik beruchnis, is a difference in a spiritual way. Zwischen der Avedas Yisrael bal Yisrael regel zayin diklifnei Hashem. When the Yidden went up to Yontif or the Beis HaMikdash by Yontif, and they were lifnei Hashem, which is b'mokim abaylim, it's like the hired worker who is in the place of the owner. Here you come to the place of Hashem. compared to what they do when they come home. What's the difference? When they go up to Yontev, you showed yourself to Hashem. As Pnei Hashem Alekecha. No, in Hashem, yeah, and as Pnei Hashem Alekecha, it says you came to the face of Hashem. Rias Alakus. You saw godliness. It says in the Gemara that just like you came to see, so to speak, of Hashem, you came to be seen by Hashem. In other words, you have a real meeting with Hashem. They came in to absorb the great holy godliness that's there in the Beis Hamikdash. When they saw the 10 miracles that happened there, they saw the place of the Shechina. Leviim b'dechonam, Yisrael b'mamodam, the Kehanim did the Aveda, the Leviim did their thing of the Duchen, and the Yidden were there standing by the Korbanos. It was alske v'yochel an inyan zu lebzich. The greatest things, but it's all for yourself. Say their Herren und sheppen sichon, they feel and they absorb and they're full, they draw mit Gilei Shechina, with the great Shechina. Bedugmas neshamas beGan Eden. It's mamish like the neshamas in Gan Eden. What did the neshamas do in Gan Eden? The Gemara says, Nanin meziva Shechina. They have pleasure, they enjoy the glory of Hashem. What's the pshat they enjoy? They enjoy. It's something good for them. It's for them. They feel enjoy. So when you enjoy something, it's for yourself. Now, unfortunately, some people enjoy things which are not important, things which are no good. If a person enjoys something that's good, enjoys godliness, very great. But after all, the essence of it is that you're doing it for your enjoyment, for your benefit. But what Zayin Cheshvan represents that you're leaving already Yerushalayim and you're coming home. You don't come to see godliness. You don't have more godliness there. You should feel the godliness. On the contrary. This godly, he had much more when he was there by the Beis Hamikdash. Lifnei Hashem b'Yerushalayim and Beis Hamikdash. So why does he leave? And why does he go there to do other things? No, so is the kavone und shlichas von dem Eibishten. He's coming to do the shlichas of Hashem. Eif mekayim zayin Torah mitzvahs. You're coming there because there you could do Torah mitzvahs more. You could do it, use the physical things Torah mitzvahs. Und bechlolos, generally speaking, laset leizborach dire betachtenim, to make a dwelling place for Hashem. Is dafke demelt werter a shliach. So when is he in the level of a shliach? When you're leaving there, because you're doing it only for Hashem. Just like the shliach does only for the Mishaleh, for the one that sent him. And what happens when you're a shliach? So the Lashon is, shluchei shalodam k'meisei. The shliach of a person is like him. Now the same Lashon, we can say, shluchei shalodam ho'elyon. The shliach of the Odom, the Eibishter is also sometimes called Odom. In Tanakh, it's called, it says in the Merkove, al Musa kiset muskmar Odom, on the chair on the Hashem is an Odom. It means the Eibish, Chas v'sholom is not an Odom, it doesn't have a body, but we use the Lashon Odom ha'elyon. Same thing here, shluchei shalodam ha'elyon, k'meisei. And k'meisei mamash k'fun k'viyochol the Eibish, and you become like one with him. But when is it? When you're not caring for yourself. Even if you care for the greatest things, but when you care to do what the Eibishter wants. Other places it says a Lashon, a different expression, but it says the difference is when a person absorbs godliness and he has great pleasure from it. It's called nachas ruach, pleasure. Lenivra, he's a nivra. We are creatures, we are created, and we have pleasure. When you do what the Eibishter wants by going out, you have nachas ruach lebeira. Then there is pleasure for the Creator, and you're doing it for Him, and then you are closer. Not physically closer, but in Inyan you are closer. Zeh is moving, the Rebbe says, from this we'll understand, was the Aveda von Zayin Cheshvan umken sich von Aliyah leregel wird angerufen Lech Lecha. This is why, when Zayin Cheshvan, which represent the coming home, leaving the Aliyah leregel, is called Lech Lecha. Why? So he says like before he just said because Lech Lecha is something that going higher. So here you go higher. But here's not speaking about going higher. He's saying this is something special that happens when you leave and you start working with making the world for Dira B'Tachtainim. There's something very special. What's the specialty? The specialty that this is a halicha. What's halicha? Halicha means going. So let's explain it. Amitis inyan halicha is dafke v'megeit ariber in anaya darge lagamra. When is something called going? Going means you left your previous place and you're coming to a new place. When is that? When you come to a new level completely. From the Darge, wo es ist given früher. You do, as we know, that if it's completely Bein Arech means with no comparison to before. Because as long as it's still connected to before, you never left it. The mashal is given. If you walk up a ladder, you walk up, yes, a while ago, yes, you go with the second step. Now, if the second step is connected to the first, so even though you left the first step, but you didn't really leave. Because the second is still part of connected to the first. Now the third is connected to the second, and the second is connected to the first, so you really never left the second, so you never left the first. So you really, really never left. That's not really called halicha. That's what it says in a lot of Svarim. Chassidus, it says that the real halicha is when you jump. When you come to the next level, it has no connection to the level before. It's like the Gemara says when the Reb Zayda learned Talmud Bavli, and he wanted to go to Eretz Yisrael to learn Talmud Yerushalmi, so he wanted to forget the Talmud Bavli. And the question is why? Because he wanted to absorb the higher level of learning. Normally we know if you want to absorb deeper learning, the more you know before, the better it is. If you know a lot, so then you could absorb even more. So he should have wanted to remember what he knows, and on top of that, to learn Yerushalmi. That idea that what you know helps you learn more, if the higher level is be'erech. Be'erech means it's higher, it's the same category, but higher. But if it's a complete category that is completely different, then what you know before will only be movalva, will only confuse you. So the real halicha is when it's bein areich. Therefore, like this, since when they went up to Yerushalayim, the Aveda was that you should come and gain godliness, which means you will gain great things, but it'll be the gain of the person. These people who went up, whatever they are, they should see godliness and absorb godliness. So it comes out as the Aveda from Tachas Gafnei, the Aveda that happens when you come home. When you come home, that's not your gain. That's doing what Hashem wants. Is Alicha Bein Arech. That's a jump. See, in doing, let's say a person learns more and has more feeling for Hashem, that's all Be'erech. But here, it's complete. It's till now it was you, now it's a new level. Now it's not you, now it's Hashem. That's the difference. He uses the lashon here. Bein nivra lebeira is ein arech. This is you. You're a creature. We are creation. The Eibush is the creator. The greatest distance between two extremes, is between the creator and the creation, and that's what this is. Being there is a very high level of the creation. A person, a creature, a created thing reaches a very high level. The level of coming later, that's the creator. That's what Hashem wants. Und der Rebbe is the Aveda von Teire Mitzvahs Lasel is Bora Dere Betachtenim. That's what the Teire Mitzvah that you could do with the physical thing of the world. Onheimdig von Zayim HaCheshvan, that starts from Zayim Cheshvan, verbunden mit Lech Lecha. That's what kind of Lech Lecha. Lech Lecha means go. Lech. This is Halicha. This is you go. Pikol anar bet nicht verstehen die Sichas zum Shem Aseder Lech Lecha, wo es redt sich wegen Halichas Havrom und Chutz L'Eretz Yisrael. Now we'll also understand what's the connection of Zayim Cheshvan to Lech Lecha in the simple sense that he told him to go to Eretz Yisrael. So he says like this: Avram Avinu noch sein dik in Chutz L'Eretz hat mefarsim given Elokus. Avram Avinu, before he came to Eretz Yisrael, while he's still outside of Eretz Yisrael, he spread godliness in the world und gebracht Menschen zu dienen dem Eibischen, and he brought people to serve Hashem. It says in Parshas Lech Lecha, it says that he had a nefesh asher osu b'choron. The people that he made in Choron. The Chazal tell us, what does it mean, Nefesh Osu B'Choron? So Rashi and Chumash says that Avram brought people, Tachas Kamfei HaShechina, under the wings of the Shechina, which means he spread godliness, the truth of Hashem. Sora did it to the woman. And with the Rambam is Mavaya B'Protis. Rambam goes into details. This is what the Rambam says. His Chilei Di Ala'am, Avram, even after he realized that there is only one God, he started telling this to people, that you should only serve the God of the world. And to him you should bow. Bring sacrifices. To pour wine. So all people should recognize him. So he got up, started making big announcements to the whole world, to notify them there's one God in the world. We should serve. So he did that when he was still in Choron. That says, because this happened in Choron. The Rambam says, when he was still in Choron before he left, because when he left, he was already older. He was 75, 52. We're not going into the Cheshbainas there, Tosfos says.
How many years was he in Eretz Yisrael?
Well, first time he went twice. Once he went when he was 52, and later he went back, and then he went back when he was 75. What made him do this? Wasn't told by Hashem. He recognized. He recognized the true way. He understood the right path from his proper understanding. So his doing to spreading out, because he was so convinced of his philosophy that he came around to spreading it. It was the right philosophy, but it came from him on understanding, and so from his understanding from the Lakus, his understanding of the Lakus. Now, Rambam says, since when he recognized Hashem, he started giving answers to people. He's a gegangen, so he went to tell people, tell people you're going in the wrong path. It's all because he felt that that's wrong. And what he felt was true, but it still came from him. Now what happened later? Now it's not him. Hashem told him now, go. And since then, a new Seder happened. Now he continues spreading, but now it's for a different reason. Now it wasn't to satisfy himself, in other words, because he feels this is right and he wants. Now because Hashem told him. Now he went the Shliach von der Eibishter. And the Rebbe is dafke onkommen die kein Eretz Yisrael. That's how we see that only when he got to Eretz Yisrael, where there zählt, in the Chumash it says, Vayikrosh b'shem Hashem, he called out the name of Hashem. The Chumash says, we said that before he came to Eretz Yisrael, he also spread godliness. So how come the Torah doesn't say it? The Torah said that he spread Vayikrosh b'shem Hashem, he called the name of Hashem. It says only when he came to Eretz Yisrael. The Torah that sailed the mid, the Torah wants to tell us now, as nit nor eichen Eretz Yisrael to megal gven alakus. Not the pshat is he revealed godliness first in Choron, wherever he was, and now when he came to Eretz Yisrael, he continued. He also spread godliness. No, the Torah writes it only there. Nor as nochen sivi Hashem Lech Lecha. He says gevem beifnach legamre. Now that he came, Hashem told him to go, and he spread. Now he's the real spread. Now is the truth. Now it's a complete different way. Al derech pirish Rashi. Rashi even says a loshen. When he got to Eretz Yisrael, now the Eibishter became the God of the heaven and the earth. I made him rogil, common in the mouth of the people. Rashi says, when he took me from my house, when I left Choron, he wasn't the God of the earth. Why? People didn't recognize him. And his name was not Mefursim. That's what Rashi says. That only in Eretz Yisrael it happened. What's the pshat? Didn't we say? The Rambam says we say that when he was in Choron, he also spread Hashem. So why do we say that it started now? So Rashi adds the words, they weren't recognizing him. When they believed in what Avram told them, it was all a result of a human being. Avram understood it, was very smart, was able to explain it to them. So they got Avram's understanding. It's all from what came from us. Only when he called Hashem's name in Eretz Yisrael, after Hashem told him to go, that's when they made him known to people. So what are we trying to say here? That Avram's, now we see where we're getting to. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to say it now before we learn inside. So it comes out that Avram's going to Eretz Yisrael is equal to our leaving Yerushalayim. Physically, they're opposite directions. But what we accomplished, just like we said before, when the Yidden left Yerushalayim, they came home. That's when they got connected to Hashem himself, not something for themselves. The same thing by Avram when he went to Eretz Yisrael. Till then it was all from him, and now it was for Hashem. In other words, when he spread godliness when he was in Chutz Loretz, since it came because of his recognition, is given an Neifen, as Welt ist aber Sondersach, So what did he understand? That the world is separate, and Hashem is the boss over the world, and the world is bottled to Hashem. Because since it came from him, so his Metzias was still felt. It means he's something. But after he was told by Hashem, and then he spread godliness, and now it came because the Eibush, that the Creator told him, he's given an Eifim Vayikra Hashem Keil Eilam. It says he called the name of Hashem, and it says Keil, he called that name Hashem Keil Eilam. Neat Keil Ho-Eilam. Really, you should say Keil Eilam is the God of the world. So it should have said Keil Ho-Eilam. But if you say that, you know what it means? The God of the world. There is a world, and he's the God of the world. Really, there is no world. There's nothing but God. So here it says Keil Eilam. As Welt mit der it's one thing. There's nothing but Hashem. But that only happened after he came to Eretz Yisrael. Why? Because here it wasn't him. As long as it's him, it's still him, a person. So a person is part of the creation, part of the world. So I'm also something. Yeah, so obviously the way he explained it. Now he explains Pashut in the words. What did Hashem say to him? Lech Lecha, you should go. May Artzecha from your land, may Lattecha from your birthplace, may Beisavicha from your father's home. And then he said, where should you go? First of all, the main thing here is not where you should go. The main thing is leave this. He meant to say like this. The main purpose is not to say go to Eretz Yisrael. He didn't even say where to go. I'll show you where to go. Nor der Iker as a Laruis gain. He wants you to leave from Zay Metzias, from your own Metzias, and he refers to his Metzias as Artzecha, your land, Milattecha, your birthplace, and Beisavicha, your father's home. How? We explained these three words. Me Artzecha means from your Eretz, from Deine Retzeines, from your will, your own will. How does Eretz have to do with will? It comes from the word Rotzen. The Gemara actually says, Loma Nikra Shmo Eretz. Why is Eretz Yisrael called Eretz? Eretz means Sherotzes Olasas Retzein Kene. It ran or it wants to do Hashem. So the word Eretz is want. Hashem said to him, till now, you had your own want. Good things. He didn't want bad things. He wanted godliness. But that's what you want. You have to leave what you want. Meilattecha, from your birthplace, means from deine Geweinheiten. It also means from where you're used to, from your habits, and from your midas. Bebeis from your father's home. So here he goes up to Chassidus. In Chassidus it says that Av is Chochmah. It says Av, Aim, father and mother is Chochmah and Bine. From Chochmah, which is Av is Chochmah. Not to go into, but it says in Storim and Kabbalah that Av is Chochmah. It says go away from your Chochmah. What was Avram's Chochmah? Afal Pi was by Avram and the Salz given in Kedusha Velakus. Avram's Chochmah is only in holiness. Aber doch me Artzecha, it's nevertheless your will. Me Lattecha, it's your habits. Good habits, beautiful habits. Yours. Beisavicha, your Chochmah. Seine Retzeines Semitas Semechen. It's your will, your midas, your logic. Take the Kedusha, it's Kedusha. Aber Metzias the Kedusha, it's a separate Metzias. Where should you go? Elohoretz Asher Areko. Go where I show you. No, it's me now. Darf gehen in der Eretz, du da Aveide, was is wie der Eibush der Weiston. And it's not a point going to Israel. It happened to be going to Israel. But now do it as I should do it, because I'm asking you to do it. That's all, not for any other reason. But this made even Avram greater, even though he's now not working to make himself better, but automatically by working completely for Hashem, he became greater. As is geworden a Shliach Hashem, now he became the Shliach of the Eibishter. Was durch dem is geworden Tzavse v'chibur von Nivra mit dem Beire. That connected him, that he became one with Hashem. The Nivra, he as a Nivra, as a creature, as a creation, one with Hashem. Was is given the Achone zu chibur al yene v'tachtene shel Matan Torah. And this was the preparation to later on. What happened by Matan Torah? Matan Torah, Hashem connected the low and the high, brought the Torah down to us that we should be able to serve him and bring the Kedusha into the world. That started, Avram started it. This is the lesson that we take from Zayin Cheshvan, which comes out Lech Lecha, and we put them both together. Because even in Golus, when we don't have a Beis Hamikdash, as we said before from the Shach, that till Zayin Cheshvan, we're still involved, he says, Asukim in Yonim of the Yontiv, in Yonim in Holy Yontiv. And now we're leaving it. Now we're going into the regular weekdays. So the lesson is like this. Everyone has to know, as those darfam nit gedem sein, a gefühl von Atzvas Chadasham. You should know when you're leaving the Yontiv, don't feel sad. Churi feels sad. A person who's a great person, a holy person, feels sad. Till now we had Yom Tevim, mitzvahs, such great things, and now we're leaving it. Nor adrabe. When you leave and now you're getting involved in your mundane things, be very happy. Only when you do that, when you get involved in your things, you're a shliach of Hashem, and now a shliach is like the person himself. So durchfind the kavanah el yener von lasses leizorach tachtenim, to fulfill the kavanah of Hashem, to make a dwelling place for Hashem down here. Now it doesn't mean that there are not always certain people who their mission is completely in holiness. They should sit and learn Torah all day. There are people who learn Torah all day. That's their mission. Majority of people of Yidden are not like that. It says in Zohar, there are two types of Yidden. There's Yidden who are called Morei Torah, people involved only in Torah, and there are Morei Uvdin Tovim, people involved in good deeds. And it says most people are involved in good deeds. Actually, the Gemara, not only the Gemara says that there are the Machloekes between Rebbe Shmuel and Rebbe Shimon Yechoya, but the halacha is that not everybody could be Teirosei Yom Nosei. Not everybody. It's not for everybody. It says Harba Osek Rebbe Shimon Yechoya. It didn't work. You can't sit and learn all day. There are some people have to be the teachers, have to be the one to give an example. True, but that's their mission. No, but there it's also that we should be able to part of the mission. But the real ones, most of the people are not. What's their mission? To make a direh b'tachtainim. And that's the aliyah for them. This idea that godliness will be in the world, will be revealed completely in the whole world, in the gula amitis v'ashlema, the Mashiach tzedkenu, through the gula to Mashiach. When the glory of Hashem will be revealed, and all flesh will see that Hashem's mouth spoke. Amen.